Back. I unfortunately we had to cut the live stream short on the post game show for the loss to the Los Angeles Clippers. So I wanted to come back here and continue that live stream. We had breaking news, big news for the Chicago Bears. Had to go cover that for Chicago Bears Central, but we're back. We're going to talk about this loss a little bit more, kind of interact, just have some time to hang out, have some fun right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go and get into this content for today. And so, back to the Bulls loss to the Los Angeles Clippers. Previously kind of talking about just the fact that the Bulls play in this game wasn't like they showed a little bit of fight in this game, right? And they ultimately came down to the Bulls just being outmatched, being shorthanded. And again, that's not an excuse per se, but the Clippers played an excellent game. And really, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, in the way that they were able to play over the course of that game, especially Paul George, it just really was too much for the Chicago Bulls with the way that they were playing at that time to really come back from. It's unfortunate. It does suck. And I do truly hope that the Bulls learn from this loss, right? But getting Kobe White back theoretically for Saturday's game could be a big game for Kobe. Now, they are facing off the Washington Wizards, so maybe they still look to maybe sit Kobe a little bit there. But I think that, the Bulls have shown a better kind of resiliency to in playoff type atmosphere games than what I think people kind of understand are going to take away. Yeah, this loss sucked, right? And the Bulls were down big at times, but they even fought back in the fourth quarter to get the lead down to single digits. Yeah, they ended up losing by 15. Don't get me wrong, but it was a combination of the players that they were missing on top of, just the Clippers being extremely hot from the field. The Clippers shot 60% from the field tonight and 50% from three-point range. That's hard for any team to overcome, even if you're at full power and capacity. So it really does suck, man. And, overall, I'll say this. When it comes down to it, though, when you look at this loss for the Chicago Bulls, there are some things that you can take away from it and say over the remaining now 15 games left of the season. That's what the Bulls have left. 15 games left on this season for the Chicago Bulls. There's still a lot of room and reason for optimism for this team. And, we'll see if they repay that optimism with actual results on the basketball court. But there's so many reasons to be really, optimistic with this team. This loss sucks. And this loss comes down to, like I said, a team hot shooting, us not being able to close out on that shooting, not being able to answer runs, and not moving without the ball. Right. And those things aren't going to really be fixed this season. But I think if you add in like a Kobe White, if he's playing well to what the Bulls are doing this game, that the Bulls would more times than not come out on top in situations like that. So, we got a lot of growing to do as a team. We got a lot of development that needs to be happening for this basketball team. But, when you look over the last 15 games of the season, when you look at some of the things you want to see from it is how do now, but team, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, they seem to be entrenched in Billy Donovan's rotation, right? Torrey Craig, who played really well in this game, moving back into the starting lineup since the first time he came back from injury. Do you now look to make kind of a permanent change to get more consistent size out there with starting to Craig and moving either Io or Alex Caruso back to the bench? I do think when you look at the bench players and Andre Drummond, Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, Erlang Batum, if you add in Alex Caruso to that, I do think that he's the type of player that, because of the brand of defense, because of his communication, he can help those players get out in transition, help those players get those easier buckets. So I think that our bench is kind of due for a kind of an adrenaline shot if you do that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that or Billy Donovan will do that, but I think that this game kind of shows a little bit about that with the team getting back into it. So let's hope that happens, and we'll see what happens with that one. Hey, Haize, I didn't think you were coming back to finish the live stream. Come on now. I refuse to leave my people short. One of the things with this, and this is not to toot my own horn, the way that you guys support me, I will never leave you short, ever, period. And when I personally feel like, hey, I left something on the table, you best believe I'm coming back to finish giving it to you guys, because the way that you guys have poured into me and the way that you guys have supported me through this journey of starting this channel, and not only that I owe you, but I want to give that to you, right? This is our time to hang out. And we've built a true community here at Chicago Bulls Central. So I'm always going to pay that community forward, right? We totally understand you had to do your thing. Well, I appreciate that. I truly appreciate that. BKR Sports says the man just doesn't stop. Legend. Listen, I'm like 12 episodes deep for just today. It is what it is, man. LOL, my boy just can't give up us short. That's why you're the best place for Bulls. I appreciate that, man. I refuse to sell my people short. That's one thing that look, my work ethic in real life transfers over to this as well. And I do not, when my name's attached to something, I give it the best that I can give it. So, we'll see, not see, but you guys really, like I said before, you guys pay me so much love, put so much respect. They're such a big part of why this channel is what it is. I'm always going to give that back to you guys twofold. So PG couldn't be stopped. He couldn't. And it's unfortunate, man. JK says, when Billy Donovan put the double big lineup in Vooch or Drum was guarding Norman Powell, I thought that was the F, but it started working. And I think that's when we went on the run in the fourth. I mean, I think you're right with that one. Now, here's the thing. I like to give the stats on that double big lineup. Vooch and Drummond played 6 minutes and 33 seconds together today. Over that time, they had a plus minus of -2. Not bad. That's not bad. You can take that. They had a net rating of -18.2, but specifically in a stretch that a 3 minute 45 second stretch there, they went -64.3. Other than that, they were a positive 50 before then. So, that's something to look at. And they had a defensive rating of 190.9. That's not good. You want the defensive rating to be low. So the double big lineup has its benefits. I make no mistake about it, but it does offer a lot of limitations, and that's why you got to use the eye test along with the stats and statistics that you have there. Sydney says, Haize, you just don't stop. We love your grind. That's why you're so loved. I appreciate that, Sydney. Appreciate that. Flockavelli in the building says, oh shit, you back. Absolutely appreciate that. Come on now. You already know, bro. Hey, Haize, congrats on 14K subscribers on Shy Bear Central. Remember joining at like 4K subscribers mark, and it's been great to see you and the gang grow. The best Bears channel on YouTube. Appreciate that, Silly. Definitely appreciate you for that, brother. Shay in the building says, Leroy's egg drop soup for head ass needs to keep this consistent. I tell you what, if this is the way that Javon Carter played tonight, it's kind of how I expected him to play for the Chicago Bulls, right? To come in, he played a solid brand of defense. Not great. We were bad defensively overall as a team, and he shot the ball effectively, right? I'm not saying every night he needs to have 12 points coming off the bench, but extend that defense out, right? Come in there, be that veteran piece, and he hasn't been that this season. I think if Javon Carter played at this level more consistently throughout the season, we'd be looking at him completely differently, right? I think the bench itself will be in a completely different space. So you got to look at that as well. The Bulls tried their best, but a win yesterday, but not mad. Yeah, I agree with that. Abdul says, thanks for coming back. Bulls all day. You already know what it is, man. Sydney says, hey, I apologize if this is a personal question. Do you think you'll do this full time? That's the goal. I think that where my original plan after I started noticing how this creative venture was going is to say that maybe by the end of 2024, I can do this full time. Here's what I'll say is that it seems like we're on that pace, but I can't say for sure. And I mean, the most important thing is my family. That comes first. So I got to provide for my family first. But if I can do that while doing this full time, which is my passion, you best believe I'm going to do it. JK says 100. Appreciate that. Anthony says, I'm always subscribed to your channel. I appreciate that, Anthony Vargas. I think they were daring man to shoot 3 with that lineup as well. Yeah, and the thing is, right, is that the Bulls gamble, and they do gamble, and every team does it. It's not exclusive to the Chicago Bulls, but it seems like we are on the wrong side of that gamble more times than not, and that really sucks sometimes, man. Such a fan of you and what you do. I subscribe to Chicago Bears Central, and I'm a Niners fan. That's crazy, but we definitely appreciate it there, man. Like I said, everybody puts in so much work over there that I really, like I said, I got to give credit out to my team. I know I'm kind of the face or whatever because I do the daily episodes, but I want to make sure everybody knows that Chicago Bears Central is a work of me, C-Dub, and Bobby, and Kevin Stevo step in there as well. Like, cannot stop what everybody, especially over this offseason, what everybody is contributing to that channel being what it is. So love it. I'm solo over here, but I'm glad I get to work with my team over there. Shay says, next game, Nikola Vucevic needs to try direct shot because Washington doesn't have any good big man since losing Daniel Gafford. Oh, Daniel Gafford went down? I didn't even know that. That sucks, man. We got to remember Javon Carter was supposed to come in and be a candidate for the starting job. Complete disappointment. Oh, yeah. Make no mistake about it. Javon Carter has been a complete disappointment. But here's what I'm going to say, right? Much like last year, and I'm not saying we're going to the same degree. Please don't say I'm not saying to the same degree. I'm just giving an example. Last year, everybody was down on the Minnesota Timberwolves trading for Rudy Gobert. This year, he's a defensive player of the year candidate on a team that's the number one team in the Western Conference. So it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility for Javon Carter to have a bad first season with the Bulls and then maybe have a better season next year. You know, if we add some more clarity on everybody's role on that bench, we flesh out the team with a little bit more of what we need. I could see Javon Carter having a much better second season with us than what this season has been. Now, granted, that's not a guarantee to happen, but it is something that can happen for sure. Back to our regularly scheduled program. And absolutely. I wish Acme would do crazy in the offseason like the Bears front office. I still don't understand the Bears trade since I don't watch football really. Here's the Sydney. If I can kind of capitalize this for you, trading for Keenan Allen is kind of similar to when the Bulls signed DeMar DeRozan, a player that's over 30, that's still extremely productive, but brings kind of exactly what you want, right? And so that's the thing that we're looking for, right? So we'll see what happens with that one. We know what nobody said that Gafford was on any other team. Somebody said since Gafford went down. So I asked if Gafford had an injury tonight because I think the Mavs played tonight. So that's what I was talking about there, brother. If you're gonna try to correct somebody, no, you know you my fan, bro. DeMar DeRozan missed some, but tried his best, and Alex Caruso had a nice game. Alex Caruso had an extremely nice game. Definitely had a nice game. I hope so. Let's hope so. I'm sorry, I know I can't compare these two teams to us, but it seems like the Indiana Pacers and Philadelphia 76ers could use Zach LaVine, especially with how far they've fallen with injuries. I mean, I get what you're getting at with that, but it's not like you're just adding Zach for nothing. So I can't believe that the Bears did that trade for a 4th round pick. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a great analogy. Thanks, Haize. Do you have hope that Acme will do something in the offseason? I mean, they're going to have to do something. And by that, I mean something has to give if they want to field any type of competent team. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Flaccavelli says, "Oh, my bad, Petty Roosevelt." Hey, I'm not gonna get petty on you. You my fam. I don't get petty on people that are actually family in this mug. Unless you would have to do something really fucking crazy for me to go petty on you. Really crazy. Man, I can't believe Chicago Bears Central gained almost 1,100 subscribers on a single live stream. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, let's see. We got Corn in the building. Haize putting in overtime, the hardest working man on YouTube. Listen, I do what I can do when I can do it. That's the thing. God has blessed me with this ability and love for my team. And yeah, and that's all I look at it. Like I always talk about, and you guys know, I talk a lot about the fact that I had the idea for Chicago Bulls Central 2 or 3 years before I actually started the show. And I always think, what if I would have started it then, right? And yeah, it'd probably be much bigger then. I would have been one of the first Bull-centric channels on YouTube. But where I am now in my life, I'm able to realize that it isn't me, right? That it isn't me that's able to do, like, I would have been a much cockier person had I started it when I started it. So I'm glad that I didn't, man. I wasn't upset about this loss. I love to see the Bulls win, though, but Clippers are tough, though. Clippers are a tough team. They are a very tough team, the Clippers are. And the way that they play, and the thing that I got to give credit to the Clippers for is that the Clippers, their defense, they aren't a great defensive team by any stretch of the imagination, but they kick their defense up in such an amazing way when needed, right? And so, yeah, great things there. Will Locked On be happening tonight? I can't guarantee that, Sydney. Me and Pat may push that off until tomorrow, just with the news. We still got to do another Bear stream as well, so we may kick that off down the road. But we'll see what happens. I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes either, if that makes sense. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to that one. But yeah. If only your work ethic could be instilled in the Chicago Bulls on a 90 game basis, we would have a much better record. I mean, listen, not many people have the work ethic that I do. It's rare. I don't know where my drive came from with that. I'm not even going to lie to you, but hey, I like the hat and jacket. I like the Bears trade. Oh, yeah. I mean, I appreciate that. We all like the Bears. That trade for the Bears is amazing. I wasn't upset about this loss either. I knew it would loss, but damn, I didn't realize how good Leonard and PG are. I feel like they didn't miss. We need consistent shooters, Acme. Completely agree with you. Like, yeah, talent matters. Talent absolutely matters. And so we'll see if we can get a little bit better when it comes down to that. But hey, it is what it is, man. We got a lot of work to do this offseason for the Chicago Bears for the Chicago Bulls. And I hope that I wish that we could truly bring Ryan Poles over to work for the Chicago Bulls. If Ryan Poles was the GM of the Bulls, we'd probably be on the path to being a Eastern Conference finalist at this point in time. So, it is what it is when it comes down to it. But yeah. But guys, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I just wanted to come back, give you guys some time, man. And we're not done. I'm not into the live stream yet. I'm just thanking you guys for coming back in here. Of course, it's not the number that we had before we left. It's later. People kind of went off and got their stream otherwise. I know that CHGO was live too, but I really thank you guys. You guys have been such a great part of my life, man. Everybody's showing love to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but you have to remember something. They have a problem staying healthy, both of them. Yeah, but I mean, they've been healthy for the most part this season. I think adding James Harden to that as well. And then you have players off that bench that are stepping up. Norman Powell is playing an amazing role. Norman Powell got to be in conversation for Sixth Man of the Year. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he got to be in that conversation. Let's hope the Bulls win on Saturday with Kobe White. Let's hope so. Do you think the Bulls should draft a center? Do you hear Zach say he never requested a trade? I did hear that. I actually covered that when that KC Johnson article came out. But I do think the Bulls should absolutely draft a center. I think there's a lot of centers that slated to be around the area that we think the Bulls are going to draft. And now we won't know the final draft order until, whatever happens with the play-in, then the lottery, of course. But I do think that, and it would be Bulls' luck. Wouldn't it be the Bulls' luck to go in with like low chances to win the lottery and win the lottery in what's supposed to be a weak draft? Wouldn't that just be Chicago Bulls type thing to do? Do you have insiders that work for the Bulls? Haha, I'm just wondering. I know some people. I won't say that I know any inside. I mean, I know people who know people, right? But I don't get like any big inside information. I get some things, right? That's part of the reason why sometimes I'm able to get videos out so quick. But I won't call it like I have something major. Like I just know a couple of people. I don't believe Zach never requested a trade to you. I don't believe he wanted to stay here. I don't believe it either. I do think that, and me and Pat talked about this over on Locked on Bulls. I think that it was some humility that came with the situation that nobody wanted to trade for him. And I think that kind of woke him up a little bit, in my opinion, is what I'm saying. Senior Network Tech says, Haize, I know this is a bull stream, but you and the fellas have been cooking for Chicago, especially during the free agency period. Y'all the real deal. I appreciate that, man. Like I said before, this whole network, the Chi-Town Sports Central, by the way, why isn't the logo up? See, this is why I hate by sharing a restream with a bunch of people. My knucklehead team. This is the thing that I love about Chi-Town Sports Central Network. We built it being the voice of the fans, right? We're not insiders. We're not writers. We're not analysts. We aren't panelists. We don't do that. We are people who truly love our teams, and that has helped push us far. And that's the place that we wanted to be in this kind of creative space, is that we wanted to be the voice of the fans. That means you're going to get me yelling and screaming at the team sometimes because, listen, I'm not here to be professional. I'm here to talk about and cover my team. So, that's what it comes down to, man. We need a shooter, playmaker, three-pointers. What do you think, Haize? We need a lot. We need an absolute lot, bro. I know this may sound crazy for Donovan is the center I want because he's too athletic. He's not too athletic, but he does affect the game in a lot of ways. I mean, listen, there's a lot of centers that the Bulls could take a look at. It really depends on where they fall in the draft, right? Because some of those centers are slated to go later. And, we'll see where they go. There's some I like Kyle Filipowski, who you guys know I've been talking about a lot. If the Bulls do kind of make it in the playoffs, maybe they get outside that lottery. Khalil Ware is another one that the Bears could draft, the Bulls could draft, but he's slated to go really low, so that may be a little bit of reach. Maybe you trade down, get some extra picks or something like that. There's some solid big men in this draft, right? Again, not necessarily with the superstar upside, but there's some really good ones in this draft. Sar also has fallen down some mock drafts where at some points he was slated to go number 3 or 4. Some mocks have him going between 7 or 10 now. So Bulls could look to do that. Now, you never know where that's going to go, but we'll see. Hey, have you ever thought about consolidating your channels? It's hard sometimes managing different channels. I can definitely see bears. No, never thought about it. To me, it's easier to say. I think with the way my brain works, it's easier to have them separated. And B, not all Bulls fans are Bears fans. Not all Bears fans are Bulls fans. So I think by having the channels separated, it allows them to get in the algorithm of the people who want to see those channels. So no, I haven't thought about it. I actually tried to get Big Kev to separate White Sox and Cubs because he covers those from the same channels, because I think it'll help get in the algorithm a little bit better if you do that. So, but no, I've never thought about consolidating the channels, because I think it works best for YouTube's algorithm to have them separated. So Fields over Williams. A lot of people think that. I would love to see the Bears keep Justin Fields for sure. So Shay says, look, I know this may sound crazy, but I would love to face the Philadelphia 76ers in the play-in without Joel Embiid. I'm sorry. I mean, you are crazy, but you're not stupid. So I understand why you're saying that, right? But all right, guys, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. Got some other decisions to make about Locked On Bulls and stuff. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in after we stopped the earlier stream, man. I love you guys so much. Make sure you're following the channel at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you ready